Hello?
Hi, this is Chris.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Hi, Chris. It's Chris.
Tammy Slayton stared at the hospital ceiling. It was clean, bright, and utterly unfamiliar. Everything about this place felt sterile except the thudding panic rising in her chest. Tomorrow was surgery day, the day she'd waited years for, fought for, cried for, and at times nearly given up on. A moment ago, Amy had been here, squeezing her hand, whispering everything would be okay. But now Tammy was alone, and the silence roared louder than ever. A heart monitor beeped rhythmically beside her. She hated that sound, not because it was ominous, but because it reminded her she was being kept alive by machines until she could fight for herself. She glanced at the photo taped on the wall. It was a candid from Christmas 2 years ago. Tammy, Amy, and their older sister Misty, sitting around a tiny tree, laughing. Back when things felt simpler. But now the weight of everything, her body, their family tensions, and the pressure of the world watching, was too much. Amy Halterman rummaged through Gage's diaper bag with one hand, her phone pressed to her ear with the other. She was on the phone with Michael, again. "No, I told you, I'm staying at the hospital tonight." Michael's voice crackled through. "Amy, you haven't slept properly in days. Let someone else go." "Misty, maybe." Amy sighed. "Misty won't answer my calls. And you know Chris has to work tomorrow. It's me or nobody." She hung up before he could protest again. She sat down on the edge of the couch, rubbing her temples. It wasn't just Tammy's surgery that had her nerves frayed. It was the growing feeling that everything was coming apart. Her marriage, her peace, even the family bond she fought so hard to protect. Amy looked over at Gage, snuggled in his car seat, and then down at her stomach. The second baby was coming soon. She was stretched thin, emotionally, physically, and the thought of losing Tammy in surgery tomorrow, it was a cliff she wasn't ready to fall from. The fight had started like so many others. They were in Dr. Smith's office after Tammy's final approval appointment. Everyone had been relieved, her numbers were finally low enough, her oxygen needs stable, her weight just below the threshold. But then Misty brought up guardianship. "If something happens, who's making decisions?" she asked. Tammy looked startled. Amy stayed quiet. Chris said, "It should be Amy." "No," Misty cut in. "Amy's got 2 kids. You think she can handle raising babies and managing Tammy's care?" Amy exploded. "Excuse me. I've been the one here. I've been the one holding her hand, driving her everywhere, wiping tears." Misty stood up. "And I've been paying the bills y'all forgot about." Tammy had cried, whispered, "Why are y'all doing this now?" But the damage was done. Misty didn't show up for the next doctor visit. Chris stopped responding to texts. And Amy just tried to hold everything together. Tammy's stretcher rolled down the hallway just after sunrise. She had tears in her eyes, though she didn't cry. Amy walked beside her, holding her hand until the last possible second. The doctor looked at Amy and asked, "Are you the primary medical contact?" Amy nodded quickly. "Okay. You'll get a call as soon as she's out of the OR. About 5 hours." Amy stood in the hallway long after the doors closed behind Tammy. A nurse touched her shoulder gently. "You can wait in ICU Lounge B. It's quieter there." Amy nodded and walked numbly to the lounge. Inside, she wasn't alone. Chris was there, arms crossed, leaning against the wall like he hadn't ghosted the family for a week. Amy blinked. "You showed up." Chris didn't smile. "Tammy's my sister too." Amy's jaw clenched. "Wish you remembered that 2 weeks ago." The tension cracked like glass between them. "I came now, didn't I?" he said. Amy bit her tongue. "Yeah. Just in time to sit and wait." They both stared straight ahead. Misty stared at her coffee, swirling it in the mug like it could give her answers. Her wife, Jasmine, was folding laundry at the table. "You still thinking about not going?" Misty nodded. "I don't want to be another body in the waiting room if we're all just gonna fight." Jasmine looked up. "What if she doesn't make it, Mist?" Misty's shoulders dropped. "I'd never forgive myself." Amy sat with her knees tucked to her chest, phone untouched. Chris paced. A news station played muted on the wall TV. Then the door swung open. "Misty." She looked like hell. No makeup. Red-rimmed eyes. Amy stared. Chris stood. Misty spoke first. "Where is she?" Amy gestured. "Still in surgery." "Misty, Saturday, I brought sandwiches." Amy burst into laughter, half relief, half exhaustion. "Of course you did." They didn't hug. Not yet. But something in the room thawed. Dr. Hennings entered, mask pulled down, face serious. "She made it through surgery," he began. "She's stable for now, but she'll be in ICU for at least 72 hours. The next day is critical. No visitors tonight. She's under sedation." Amy burst into tears. Chris let out a long breath. Misty closed her eyes. "She's not out of the woods," he added. "But she's on the right path." Amy stood, shaking. "Can we see her?" "Just through the window." The doctor nodded. Briefly. Tammy looked small, tubes in her nose, wires on her chest, arms bandaged. But her chest rose and fell. Her color was good. She was alive. Amy placed her hand on the glass. "I didn't want her to do this alone," she whispered. Chris moved next to her. "She didn't." Misty joined. "We all showed up. Late or not." They stood together. Quiet. Unified, for now.